Hi there, I'm Cheryl, and we're going to be making a Mother's Day card today. And I just can't keep things simple just lately. I don't know what's going on, but I have this. Look at it. Isn't this cool? I got a little floating butterfly on the front here. We've got a little piece that stands out, and then you open it up, and it has the sentiment and flowers on the inside too. So let me show you what I used for this. Of course, we need scissors and an assortment of glues here. And then I have a piece of a berry burst cardstock, and this is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored and folded at 4 1/4, so it's a standard A2 size card. Not that you'd be able to put it in an envelope, and I have some sponges. I have some makeup sponges. I have some sponge daubers. I have a strip of acetate. It's a 1/4 inch wide, and I'm going to cut myself a piece that's let's see, this could cut a little 2-inch piece of this, and we'll be using that. That's what makes our don't tell anyone, that's what makes our butterfly float. So we're going to be using that. Then let's see, the inks that I've used are Berry Burst, Daffodil Delight, Tempting Turquoise, and then I have the Memento Tuxedo Black for stamping the sentiments, and then I have some pigment inks here, Colorbox, and these are Pinkolicious. Isn't that a nice name? Moss Green, and this is a new one. They've come out with. This is Kismet. So we're going to be using that. And we're going to I've used the Heartfelt Creations butterfly from Botanical Wings. So I have both the stamp and the die for that. And then I need a piece of Whisper White that's it's about 3 by 2 3/4. But whatever, you could use any butterfly that you like to use, whether you die cut it or fussy cut it out. So you just need a piece of you want a heavyweight the thick Whisper White for that to stamp your butterfly on. And then for the little standout border, I'm using the Heartfelt Creations Sweetheart Borders, this border strip here, and I have 2 strips. I'm doubling that up. I have 2 strips that are 1.5 inches by or 1 1/4 by 7 inches. So we'll be die cutting that from those. Then I have my Happy Mother's Day stamp, and I have this cute little decorative border here, and that's from Spellbinders. This is their Fancy Fat Tags 2, and it's this one here that I'm going to be using. And you can fit it on a smaller piece than I have here, 4.5 by 2.5. But I like to use a bigger piece, because then when I stamp my sentiment or whatever in here, then I still have room. I can move my die around and get that perfectly centered. Then also I have some snail. I'll need snail. Let me show you these too. And I have my Nuvo crystal drops. I have the bottle green. That's a pearlized. And then I have the gloss dandelion yellow. And I'm using from Heartfelt Creations, I have from Peony Bud and Blossom, and I have the stamp and the die for that also. But I'm only using the stamp. I'm only going to use the stamp, and I'm using just the 2 buds. I'm not using the flower ones. I'm just using the 2 buds. And I have this nice script background stamp. I love this stamp. From Just Right Company, and I got this on Amazon, and it's just a nice little scripty. It doesn't say anything, but it just looks like a nice little script on there. We're going to be using that. And I have 2 pieces of Whisper White, One will go on the inside and one will go on the front. And those are, let's see, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So one of each here. Oh, look at that. I have something on the back of this one. Huh. How about that? That's okay. It doesn't matter. Huh. I didn't know I did that. I have a pile of scrap pieces that I pull from. And that was obviously in my scrap pile. And then from the Stampin' Up petal palette, I'm using this branch here, leafy branch, and you'll notice that I have the stem hanging off the side here. That's okay, because I really don't care if I get that stem on there or not. I mainly want these leaves. And I have another piece of Whisper White here that's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we're gonna be making our own background papers too. So let me put these pieces aside for now, because I'm gonna do my stamping and my coloring first, and then I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna do my die cutting and things and get back to you once that's done. I don't think you don't need to sit and watch me run all these things through my Big Shot, because it's just standard die cutting. Okay, so stamp my butterfly in the Memento black, and I'm going to just set him aside for just a moment. I want to make sure that black is good and dry. And I'm going to go on, I'm going to make my backgrounds. So I have my leaves for this one, and I have my flowers I'm going to stamp on this one. I'm going to get out some baby wipes too, because I know I'm going to make a mess on my table. So I'm going to start out with my Colorbox Pinkolicious pigment ink here. And I've got my flowers already mounted, both of them, on here. I'm going to ink those up. And let's see, I'll start kind of in the center here. And maybe over towards the edge. I'm going to start over towards the edge here. And I'll just start filling in however I can fit these in here. Let's see. Let's do the one like this. And then I think I'm going to take the big one off. I'll take the big one off. I'll just use the small one. So I can just squeeze that in everywhere I can. Right more. There we go. That looks good. Yeah, so we've got that pretty well covered. Need my baby white. Oh wait, you know what? I can just use my sponge. Where did my sponge get to? I just toss things all over the place. Look at this. I can just pick some of that up with my sponge, and I'm going to just sponge over this and start blending that in. Because this is pigment ink, it's not dry yet, so it will, I'll be picking up a little bit of ink off of the flowers I've already stamped. And it's kind of a vibrant color, so I want to dab that off. And sponge, sponge, sponge. And a nice pink background here. Because the pigment inks take a little bit of time to dry, You do have to be careful where you put your fingers. Okay, so that looks good. Nice and pink. Let me put that aside. And get my script stamp out. Now what I'm going to do with that is, let me wipe that up. I don't want that all over my stamp thing here. This comes on kind of a nice plasticky background thing. Now with the Kismet Colorbox, I'm just going to ink that up. Not putting this on a block or anything. I'm just laying it on my table. I'm going to put this piece face down on there. And then normally you would rub it all over, but you know what? I'm just going to rub it in places, in certain spots. I'm not going to rub it everywhere. Okay. And then that will give us, our print will fade in and out, and some places maybe not even have any print on there. And that is one of my backgrounds now. See? So let me put that with my base, and we'll go on to the green one, and we have the leaves here. And I'm going to use the moss green. Yes, moss green for this. And all around the edges, I'm just going to fill this in. I just keep stamping until there's no ink left on there. And I want just lots of green leaves all around the edges, because only a little bit of this is going to show. And I'm just want that totally covered with nice green leaves. I'm going to take my other sponge dauber here and just go over that. See, I'm not even adding any ink to my sponge dauber. This is just the ink that stamped off on my table, and because this is still wet, because it's a pigment ink, it just blends all around. So that it will be our green little border piece. And we'll wipe this up. So those are done. Now we'll do our butterfly. We'll go back to the butterfly. I'm using my Stampin' Up inks for that. So I'm going to start with my Berry Burst and the large makeup sponge here. And I'm just going to sponge all around the edge here. I'm just using that same stamp because they're very close in color. The Berry Burst is just a little brighter than the Pinkolicious pigment ink. So there we've got that. And we want to go over the edge here. That way when I die cut this, there won't be any annoying little white edges around it. I don't like to see that. Okay, then we'll go to our Tempting Turquoise and get my little sponge dauber here, and I'm just going to use the edge of this. And I'm going to put that in and overlap a little bit with the Berry Burst. And we'll get a little purpley color in there too. So now we will have the Berry Burst, we'll have a purpley color, and we'll have the Tempting Turquoise there. Okay, now we'll switch this out for some Daffodil Delight for the body and just that little bit of the inside of the wings there. So we have like a rainbow butterfly. And then where the Daffodil Delight and the Tempting Turquoise overlap, then we get a little bit of a green in there too. Very colorful butterfly. Okay. So now, oh, one more thing. We need to stamp the inside of the card. So I'm going back to my Berry Burst, and I have just my small bud. I'm going to have one just come up from this corner, and then I'm going to flip it over and have one coming in from the top corner here. Just like that. Just a little something to tie in and decorate the inside of our card. Now I'm going to finish with my stamping. I'm going to stamp my sentiments. I'm going to die cut everything that needs to be die cut, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've got everything all die cut out. We're going to put the butterfly, we're going to attach the little piece of acrylic strip to the butterfly first, because this does need a little time to dry. So first I'm going to take my little strip, and you probably can't see that very well, but take my word for it, there's a strip here, and about a ½ inch from each end I'm going to take my bone folder, I'm going to score it on each side, so about ½ inch in. I'm going to score it and fold it into a little U shape, just like so. I can't hardly see it either because I didn't put my glasses on. I have to put my glasses on. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so I have both of my legs folded in. There you go. Can you see that? I think you can. Alright, then we're going to attach it to the butterfly, and we're going to put it so that the leg of our U is facing downward towards the butterfly's tail. So the top part of the U is up towards its head, and the leg faces down towards its tail. And we're going to use the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear Glue for that, because this will, it said right in the description that it will glue to plastic, so that's what I'm using. So whatever glue you use, you want to make sure that it will glue plastic, which is what this is. So we're going to just set that aside for now. We're going to let that dry a little bit and clean my tip off here and cap it so I don't have a clogged up schnozzle next time I go to use it. And I'll go on to the lacy bits here, and I glued both of mine together. When I cut them out, I put the top of the die to the edge of the paper, and Dollars to Donuts, one of them is going to be just a little bit bigger, a little smaller. I don't know if you can see that, but I do have just a little one that had a little bit smaller. you put that one towards the back. You want your bigger one facing outward. Then we're going to score this also. And I line that up. Let's see. So there's a center little loop here. And I'm going to line that up right in the center of that first little loop there. So that's in about, oh, geez, let me measure it. So it's about 3/8 of an inch in from the side. If you want to measure it, you can measure it and mark it. I'm just eyeballing. And you want to more roll your, well, you can score it, but just be careful because this is pretty, even doubled up, it's still pretty delicate. And let's see. Oh, it wasn't the second, it was the third. It was the second one from the, I don't know, but it's about 3/8 of an inch in. We'll do that side also. Score that. I'm going to fold those bits in. And before I put that on, I'm going to just take it, I'm going to wrap it around something round. Just to give it the idea that it wants to go in a round shape. So let's get our bits here. We're going to glue our pink piece to our green piece. Put some glue on there. And center that. Okay. Then we're going to flip that over. I'm using the snail glue for this part. If you have a stronger glue, adhesive you want to use, then go ahead, go for it. But I'm just using a good amount of snail on there. And then I'm going to take this, line it up with the bottom, and just fold that under. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. Line it up with the bottom, fold it under, and stick it down on your tape here. Now we're ready to attach this to the card front. So I'm gonna put a little glue on those so they're stuck from both sides. Come on, glue. I got a little clog going there. Ooh, yeah, there it comes. And all over the back here. And then we'll center this on our card base. Well, actually it's going to cover the entire card base. So, I got a little glue oozing out the bottom. So there we go. That's all attached. And while we're gluing, let's glue the inside in. And I kind of glossed over what stamps I'm using. I got these stamps on AliExpress, and quite frankly, you got a snowball's chance in Florida of getting them by Mother's Day. So just whatever sentiment you have that you'd like to use on your Mother's Day card, use that one. If you don't have one that you like, there's always just go in your word file and make one of your own. Use some pretty font and you know, make up a sentiment, or go online, look for Mother's Day sentiments or Mother's Day sayings or verses, and put that on your card. I've done that more times than I can tell you. So we're kind of in the home stretch here now. I'm going to attach this to my card front, and I really don't care if it overhangs the edge a little bit. put a little glue on my lacy parts. Oop. Because this is not going in a regular envelope. There's no way. There's just too much dimension on this card. Okay, so I attach that to my card front. And by now our butterfly has set up enough that I should be able to attach him. So I'm going back to my designers, the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear Glue. And put some glue on the other little leg of our U shape. And I want my butterfly at an angle. So I'm going to put him down right there like that. And then next we're going to glitter. So I'm going to have to work very carefully. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper. Bring that in here so I can gather up my glitter. And just all around the edge of the butterfly I'm going to put some glitter on them. So we'll put some of that Dries Clear Glue on there. I've got to get both sides of the butterfly so he's evenly glittered. Okay. Let's sprinkle our glitter on. Now, very carefully tap that off. I don't want my butterfly to come unseated. Oh, I got a bunch of glitter still in the background. I'll brush that off, that excess glitter off with, I'll just grab a brush. Just brush that glitter off. That can all go back in my little cup. Okay. So here we go. Oh, I still see a spot I missed. Okay, there we go. Glitter seems to last forever, doesn't it? You use so little of it. So now we're ready to add our little extra something somethings. So I have my dandelion yellow gloss, and just on the body of the butterfly I'm going to try to stay within the black lines. I'm going to put some of that gloss so he has a nice shiny body. And then we'll do our little pearls. So with these little jewel, the Nuvo crystal drop things, what you do, you want to hold your bottle as straight up and down as possible while you're using it, and get yourself just a little, see that little glob going there? You want to get yourself a little glob, because that's what's going to be touching the paper. So you make your little pearl and touch it to the paper. So you have to kind of look in from the side. So you got to get down, look in from the side, see what you're doing. And you make your little pearl and touch it to the paper. And then let's see, I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. So I make my pearl, touch it to the paper. And, oh, I gotta move my butterfly a little bit. And make our glob, make our pearl, and touch it to the paper. And there we go. That's it. We're done. So, when this dries, this will all dry clear. It looks a little white where I put the glitter on here, but it will dry clear, and also underneath here. So it looks like your butterfly indeed is floating because you barely see the, what do you call it, paper. Yeah. Your little bit of acrylic. Or acetate. Acetate. That's the word I'm looking for. Don't you hate that when you can't remember a word? For goodness sakes. So, there he is. I love the way he bounces, don't you? So if you've liked this video, then be sure to hit the like button down. I just can't stop myself from doing this. If you've liked this video, then be sure to hit the like button down below. If you have any questions or comments about the video, then leave those below. I pride myself on getting back to people pretty quickly. If there are any Stampin' Up products that you'd like to purchase, then I would be thrilled if you used me as your demonstrator, and you can do that either through my Facebook page or my blog, which will be listed below. And as always, I'll have all the materials and tools that I used listed below also. So, y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.